Like
Yeah.
she had a lot of information. I don't know. I like that one.
I also like that it provided a background for the poems within that section. Like she told all these stories, like, I don't know, growing up in high school and not.
It's really relatable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's a real person. Kind of like what I was just saying about like how kids don't want to read poems that are just by some like old dead person, you know?
Yeah.
Like they want poems that they can really relate to. So I think like that one's definitely one that's on the list. Her website's pretty cool too. I was checking it out.
I saw myself in this book as like a mirror, kind of, I guess. I was reading through the American ones just because I was more relatable to the American ones, and the one that like really caught my eye was like the straight A one in the back, and it was like you're expected to get straight A's even though you don't really like talk about it. And I was able to like see myself in that because like I know my parents are like, it'd be really great if you did really good in school, but it's not like they're like you need to get A's. It's like silent expectations. So I saw myself kind of in that poem the most. But there was also one in there, it's about like eating. It's like I eat like this or I eat like that. And I like that too.
About like how the different cultures eat differently.
Manners, I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my goodness, like even though I've never like experienced like Chinese or Korean ways of eating, like I can see kind of the difference between that and American.
Yeah, like I've heard that it's actually like normal and I think it's like polite to actually like slurp while you eat in some cultures.
And burping too.
Yeah, burping after a meal shows that you enjoyed it and everything. I was like, can we have that? That's cool.
There's another culture, if you put your chopsticks in it, that's like bad.
Oh yeah, like
if you leave them sticking in the bowl.
Yeah, like in Japan, there's like a whole etiquette to chopsticks.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like it's very rude to point with your chopsticks. Oh,
My psych professor, Tracy Thornbeck.
Oh,
Yeah, she told me about, I don't know if she told you this. She has a friend, and I can't remember where her friend was from or what her background was, but she was eating there, and she was eating with chopsticks, and she held them like really close to the bottom. And apparently, in their culture, that means you're greedy.
Oh no!
And so it like became this joke between them that she was really greedy because that was the only way she could hold them and eat.
Yeah.
And be able to like eat with them.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like the
funny.
more skilled you are, the farther back you can hold them apparently. So
Yeah.
I hear you. I'm like holding them right up at the tip so I can
just-
get every piece of rice, you know?
Yeah.
Gosh dang.
There's so many
I
mirrors.
found my mirror in this too. The poem toward the beginning, the one that's called "The Suitcase Full of Seaweed,"
That one was cool.
and how she calls the suitcase this like treasure chest that her grandma had. It reminded me of my grandma has this big like cedar chest, and she calls it her hope chest.
Oh,
And
That's cool.
okay.
It's filled with like just a bunch of these like family heirlooms, like quilts that have been made by family and just pictures and whatnot. And it reminded me of this poem I had written about that moment where she and I were going through and looking at all these old family photos, and she's telling me about like every person in the photo and
Oh wow.
yeah, so that's how I related.
That's
to
really
that.
cool.
Yeah. Just like different things can be treasured and yeah.
What I found was kind of like a mirror and a window a little bit, kind of like a combination, because I really appreciated in this how she was appreciating all her cultures, like the three, and like I think that myself, I really like value being American, but then there's also like all these other cultures. Like we read a lot about people who are of just two cultures, you know, like they're American and then they're very much of a different, like they're very Latino or very, yeah, you know what I'm saying. But then there's also a lot of us who are, like myself included, who come from a lot of different cultures, and it's all kind of mixed into one. So I was kind of relating to her and like, yeah, I can appreciate a lot of different cultures in my life, you know, and that I want to honor each one. So I thought she did a really nice job of honoring each of her different cultures and really valuing it. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that brings a good point that I noticed in The Blacker the Berry. That one about the snowberries, and it's like that one drop of blood that makes black me. That quote really stood out to me because it made me realize, like, when you are from multiple cultures are a part of who you are, like how, like, people try to identify you as one, but
Yeah.
you're really more than one, and it's like
right,
how
you're all your cultures, you know.
yeah.
Mhm.
It can be so difficult especially in today's society, to really just like honor every single part of you and all that you
Mhm.
came from, because like it's so like it's just kind of like human nature, like to want to categorize someone based on sight, like, oh, your skin is white, you're white, and
Yeah.
but really like it's hard to tell, so it's like
Mhm.
because she did have lighter skin, but then you know like you also want to honor all the different types of heritages that people have, which I think kind of leads back to teaching that, and I think it was in one of the articles that we read too about getting to know your students and their backgrounds. I think that was for this class.
Mhm.
But yeah, so sorry, I kind of rambled again.
Oh, that's fine.
Any other? We can talk about our mirrors through the Choctaw. One.
Oh, that book is
I
so good.
liked that book.
No, I hear
I
you.
was a Choctaw when I was a little girl. Like it's like looking back on it, it was probably really bad, but it was like a group of my friends, and we became part of the Choctaw tribe. Like we wore like jackets, and like it was with our dads, and like I don't know. Like looking back, it just seems really bad. And I don't know. It just like made me think about this a little bit, but
It's kind of like when little kids play like Cowboys and Indians or something like
it
that.
was an actual like group. It's like
It's like an actual
It's
group.
like Girl Scouts, but it was
Oh,
like
is it like a legit thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
interesting.
I have like pictures of like there was one dad who was the chief, and he had to wear like the whole like headpiece, and it was just like I don't know.
Was it like traditional headpiece, or was it just
we
like, you know,
didn't
like
really-
Peter Pan with the big old...
Oh, it was Peter Panny,
Oh, nice.
but it was just like weird, but it was fun.
Hey!
I don't know. Okay, anyways,
Are we supposed to do a mirror and a window for each children's
that's
thing?
what I did.
Oh, I've only been doing one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay, then maybe I'm doing it wrong.
We can just kind of make up,
Talk
not make
about
up,
it.
just think of something, yeah.
I mean, we don't all have to have them, but I liked that book a lot, just because it kind of showed the friendship between Martha, Tom, and Little Mo,
Mm-hmm.
and how like their families were really supportive of each other to like help.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I really like that part. But I saw a mirror just because we've all dealt with friendships of someone
Mhm.
being different than you and really just trying to reach out to someone else. So that was kind of like my mirror. Like, oh, friends.
I wrote...
I'm sure you've both read Paulo Freire, the
The
oh my gosh.
Freer.
Yeah,
Oh. Yeah, what is it?
I can't remember the name of it right now.
English 101.
Or in 310 education.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh,
okay.
yeah.
But like, I just kind of thought about that
Since
and
you
how he
want to.
talks about like, I don't know. I kind of thought of it as a window as to how it could be like to be part of like an oppressed group,
Mm.
and how like, if working or individually you might not be able to overcome the like, whatever's oppressing you and kind of thing, but like together you can overcome that, and like. I don't know. That's just kind of like what I was thinking about, but
Yeah, I like that. That was cool.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of people can relate to being a part of an oppressed group, or even just
Mhm.
feeling oppressed themselves for being different.
Mhm.
Yeah. I don't know if it would necessarily be a window, but I don't know. That's just kind of what I thought of when I was reading it. It's like how they were working together to help one another, and
Yeah.
I just love like that parallel, like where they each experience something from each other's culture,
Yeah.
and like the repetition of like the hand touching their shoulder when they're in a place that maybe they shouldn't have been, but you know they went. But a mirror that I saw in this book was when they were crossing the river, and they're like, well, I know we always call you Little Mo, but your name is Moses.
Yeah.
First I saw, like, oh, cool, biblical allusion,
Yeah.
crossing the water, but then, like, that, you know, like, when we're little kids, like, we sometimes have our nicknames and everything, and then,
Mhm.
like, when we grow up, we grow into our name a little bit. So, like, when I was a kid, I always went by Allie. I was never, like, you did not call me Alicia. I was Allie. And I got mad. I did not like my name. But then as I got older, I started appreciating the name Alicia a lot more. And so it's like, I can kind of relate to that. I'm not like saving my whole family from slavery or anything, but you know, like I can kind of relate to that, like like that growing up and maturing and feeling like, okay, yeah, now I can kind of own this name. That's who I am, kind of thing. I'm not just Allie or Little Mo anymore. I'm Alicia or Moses, you know? So.
I was kind of the opposite.
Oh, yeah?
I loved Carly, but I was just like, oh, I like your name better. I'm going to take that one instead. Like, I'm going to write it down so my children, I don't know. If that's like a little creepy, sorry.
No, that's cute.
Did you all notice or read the back part where it was talking about like this was actually started as a song?
Yeah, I was wondering.
That.
And I don't know, like reading through this, I wouldn't have guessed that until I like got into the end. Like obviously I kind of thought it was just a story, but I didn't know that it originated as just this oral singing and whatnot, and it was really surprising to me.
Yeah, like, and oh, sorry, I keep interrupting.
Oh, don't worry. I was just trying to figure out what else I had written about it.
I like
But
that one part. Oh, gosh dang it, I interrupted.
Go ahead. I was interrupting you that time.
I really thought that somehow they're gonna relate this a lot more back to the song the Drinking Gourd. If you ever heard that one, because like
the drinking gourd.
Where's the line? Like a band. They said a band of angels. I was like, okay, I feel like the author used that wording on purpose to kind of relate back to that song, like. Because, you know, like, a band, like, looked over Jordan, what did I see? Yeah. And then a band of angels. Yeah. That's a beautiful voice. No, but yeah, so it's like, that, I kind of related that back to what I learned as a kid. Like, I was like, oh, are they going to make this, like, little plot twist to be the legend of the drinking gourd kind of thing? Or relating that back to that story? But in a way, I was kind of glad they didn't. Kind of kept it its own story, but...
I was reading the back. It's like a little note from the author, and just something stood out about it. He said, like, from this book, non-Indians might realize that the sweet and secret fire that drives the Indian heart, or realize the sweet and secret fire that drives the Indian heart. We are proud of who we are. We are determined that our way, shared by many of all races, a way of respect for others in the land will live on, will prevail. So just about, like, respecting each other and everything, and it kind of made me think about like that's kind of what teachers do with all this multicultural literature.
Yeah,
is that we help students to see through the eyes of other cultures and what it's like to be from other cultures and helping them to develop that.